Okay guys, welcome to the video. This is Foo Films here, so this is just going to be a brief little walkthrough video of my latest monstrosity that I've created here. So this is built in Unreal Engine. It's called Alprazo Lane. So I'll just briefly explain, sort of my thought process behind the name and how it all sort of came about. So I was on Wiki and I was reading about benzodiazepines and Alprazo Lane in particular, and I saw the picture in the top right of like the rings, like I'm not a chemist, so I don't understand how it all works, but like the rings that sort of connect all the different parts that make up the pharmaceutical. And I was looking at that and I thought to myself, like, shit, that actually kind of looks like a, air, like roads, like an aerial down shot of like a city. So I'm thinking to myself, like, oh fuck, that'd be cool, man. Imagine like sort of basing, a scene on that structure, and then sort of think, I thought to myself, like, from like a video game sort of perspective, you'd have this character, it's just like kind of, might suffer from anxiety, and would have to get like, find medication and all that to like curb the anxiety, and as it increases, like monsters appear and shit, and like kind of like an exaggerated, an exaggeration on the actual experience itself. There's no monsters in anxiety, although it's a horrible thing for those that experience it. But anyway, so I was looking at that and I thought, all right, that's cool. Like, let's try that, man. Let's try and base a city based on the ring structure of Alprazo Lane. So I started just blocking it out, and then I was sort of like thinking, like, oh no, this is like, fuck no, this is like way too ambitious. Like it was just too big in scope to actually work. So I scaled it right back down, and so I just called it Alprazo Lane as a play on words to Alprazo Lane. So that's the origin of the fucking name. Hooray for that. Now, so let's actually cruise through the fucking city. It is a walkthrough video after all. So just get everything kind of, a bit more fucking chilled. Alrighty, so there'll be some seams which I'll point out. That's a building issue which I'll get into later. There was also, it also started, like the idea also sort of started from, I was cruising through just, part of town locally, and there's this laneway and had these really cool sawtooth buildings and like, old school kind of, heritage buildings and that. They're all grimy and shit, so I started, incorporating that as well, so it's kind of, it's a bit of a mishmash of the idea. These things sort of grow in weird sort of ways. So these are the sort of sawtooth buildings themselves. They're kind of like, grimy. Overall, as far as, oh, fucking, I've got to hide this shit, man. Jesus, what am I doing? It's a bloody walkthrough video. They're the it's a post-process volume and light mass volume. And there's a random fucking piece right there. I don't know what that's doing there. Okay, there's lots of random pieces in the fucking sky. Just give us a moment. I have no idea why these are here. We may have to actually edit this. Why are there random pieces in the sky? There's fucking tons of them. Why? Okay, anyway, we'll try and fucking read it. Alright, back into the city. So, this apartment building was kind of, so this was based, there was a bit of a combination of buildings, those sort of, it was a New York apartment building, and that was sort of taken from another kind of thing, and then I sort of, mucked around for pieces to sort of build that up and all that. We got fucking bins and all that shit through here, like, there's like a records and shit on the ground. That was like I used to do like music productions. That was like a reference to like my old fucking shit that I used to make. So, that's kind of cool, I guess. So this is sort of the main sort of alleyway. You sort of cruise through here as a character. Just fucking doing your thing and all that sort of stuff. So. Predominantly, yeah. So there's a big Art Deco, influence that I want to take with this. I just love Art Deco. It has that sort of simplistic complexity to it. Like I love Art Nouveau and all that. That shit's busy as fuck, and Art Deco is sort of that nice marriage of, simplicity and complexity. They sort of say Art Deco sort of straightened out architecture historically, but the most interesting part of Art Deco was when it was transitioning from Art Nouveau, and that's something that's you don't see too often. I can't say I approached it like that. I've got the cloud on at fucking hyper speed at the moment, so just that is what it is. This building's like it's painfully out of like stylistically is just like completely different, and the colonial windows and shit, and like so I tried to include some sort of Art Deco-ness to it, but we'll call that a big pile of failure and move on. You gotta accept your fails to learn. So sort of cruise through the alleyways, got the door entrances and all that sort of jazz. Dark grimy alley, just pull up a chair in a dark grimy alley, why not, so they're the light schemes. So what happens there, like when you build the lighting in Unreal, like if you build it at production quality, it tends to sort of eliminate those seams, but my computer was just being a total bastard. Like I was being a bastard through the whole process, to be honest, but like it kept kind of it's just crashing, man. I was trying to build it all week and it just wouldn't let me, so I just accepted that that's just fucking how it is. I was happy with this building. This one, it's got very strong Art Deco vibes and all that sort of thing. And again, like that's like classic Art Deco. You sort of circular repetitions with larger repetitions on the outside. The staggering sort of effect. It's very Art Deco in nature. So this was one of the earlier buildings that I made. Again, like that's another one, similar door that we saw just before. That was I photo referenced that one. That was based off an actual building. The top part wasn't, but the trim and all that sort of thing up here was based on it. So that was kind of cool. This was not based on anything. I just literally was just going nuts with the modular pieces. So so I took a modular approach. So for just group this, so as you can see, each piece sort of individually, collectively coming together to build it. So for the Planet Coaster video watchers, it's the same approach, man. You guys are doing the same thing. But so that was that part. Reasonably happy with this corner. I mean, it's kind of a bit more grimy, sort of different take on doors and all that sort of shit. And with the city itself, what I wanted to do was sort of have, like just from a colour point of view, and I guess, well, how would you describe it? Sort of a social hierarchy. You'd have like, sort of like the silver, be a bit royal, and then the gold part of the city would be like El Royale, be like the fucking palace out here and all that. So that was sort of more the fucking the more royal side of the buildings. Like personally, like out of the buildings, like this was one of my favorites. I really liked the top of this one and all that sort of thing. It was a bit touch and go about this little separation, but I thought it was interesting enough to sort of keep in there. So left that like that. If you're playing the game, you can't even see the building. If you're just down here, you're just like, oh, okay. Anyway, and that's that. So anyway, we've been through here, so cruising down through here. So again, that was one of the earlier buildings, the blue one, or the green one. That's typical Art Deco sort of palette. You can't really get much more typical. Another variation on the door. Didn't bake that one too well. It's a bit grimy, but anyway, you learn. But as I said, this was the whole point of this was just to learn the process. I want to learn how to do modular pieces. I want to learn how to PBR texturing and the whole kit and caboodle. Well, I already mentioned that. I can't even remember. Look at this fucking bunch of piss heads. Look at that, just dumping empty cans everywhere. People living in this building. Bunch of piss heads. I actually realised that there is like there's actually no entrance to this building here whatsoever. There's like no entrance, and I was like, hey dude, I bought a couch. Oh, that's great. Well, let's just fucking cut a hole through the roof and get it in there, So that was a logic flaw, I mean, look at these piss heads. They're full of it. Oh my god. Anyway, so this is sort of another dark kind of I won't say that, little alleyway and all that, and so well anyway, I guess that's basically the whole city. There you go. There's your walkthrough. Oh, and then we go through here, so there's that building there too. So yeah, so anyway, so that's the walkthrough complete. All right, let's turn the video off. But no, so I'll just talk about just with the actual modular approach. So what I wanted to do, I ended up building, a pretty decent number of sets of modular pieces, but I didn't want to build too many. I sort of want to limit myself and, kind of push or, just be as creative as I could be with the pieces. And, when I started, in 3ds Max and that, I'm just like, oh, okay, this has to be, 2 meters high by 3 meters, and, every piece has to be half a meter, for the ledge and all that. And, that's true for wall sections and all that, but you'd be surprised, just how, flexible you can actually be in Unreal, selecting individual pieces, this, for example, you can actually just, kind of, scale them out and all that, you don't have to quite be as pedantic, which is, which is, well, that was something that kind of, I just realised this part here is made out of antennas, so these antennas through here, I just sort of put that here. So so anyway, so from the modular point of view, I guess, the couple of interesting things. So the main one, so this building here, so basically, I'm building this one here, and well, before I get into that, with the buildings, the main thing I wanted to do, my main rule, number one rule, was I wanted every building to be different. That was the rule, man. I just, that always irks me in games. You see the same building over and over and again. It's just you lazy fucks, come on. And so every building had to be different, or at least some variance of difference. That was rule number one. And the buildings kind of started getting crazier as I kept building them, because I had more, pieces to work with, and I kept, mashing them together and all that. They call it kit bashing, and so that, because I started here, so that's quite a normal looking piece of architecture. That's reasonably normal, and then they over here they sort of just start getting crazier and crazier and crazier as I went along. So that was how that came to effect. But so back to the modular side of things. So that's pretty stock standard set of modular. Each building there. So that's all good. But as far as I guess the creative use of modular pieces, so this building in particular is kind of noteworthy. So if you have to look way back here, so we've got a door. Whoa, too far. Okay, so we've got a door handle here, right? And, so that's just one of the pieces that I've made. So that's just this, nice little door handle. Okay, cool. And so then I just sort of thought to myself, well, hang on a second. Let's. Oh, hang on. What have I done? Everything's frozen. Oh, hang on. Just had a bit of a freeze. Unreal is not letting me. It's going super slow. Alright, there we go. Alrighty, so so the modular side of things. So anyway, so I'm looking at this door handle and thinking, well, I might be able to use that for something else. So then, this building over here, if it'll let me speed up a bit, okay, get a bit more speed going on. So then I just started, applying that door handle to, the facade. This whole top section here is just made out of just door handles, basically, but it's got that curvature and that Art Deco, kind of vibe, staggering and all that. So that was made out of door handles. Great, we have a door handle building, and the entrance itself is also made out of door handles. So these sections here, they're all just door handles, which is this door handle here. So as you can see, that piece there is simply this piece here, stretched and distorted and all that sort of thing. So I guess, you can say that's kind of interesting, I suppose. And the other sort of main interesting kind of use of modular pieces was it's through here. So I ended up placing this little mailbox here, so I was pretty happy with that. Okay, that's kind of cool. And then I thought to myself, well, what will happen if I just throw that fucking mailbox at a wall? So I done that, and I just threw that mailbox here, that's grouped, but so I just hurled that mailbox there. And I was thinking oh, hang on, that looks kind of cool, and then just sort of distorted it, you squished each part and all that, and sort of built just the facade out of mailboxes. So we have a mailbox entrance now, which is kind of cool. But again, that's just you'd be I want to be as creative as possible, with the modular pieces themselves. So that's that. And again, and you can cheat a little bit, well, not necessarily cheat, but you can repeat parts, like, I mean, this part's the same part as that, but grouping is like, oh my god, like I didn't even, because like in Unreal, like, you just like, multiple items and you just go Control G and then I'll group them together and you're like, okay, now I can move that, I didn't realize, like, I was working for like months and I didn't even realize I was just selecting everything individually, and I was like, man, this is, how do people make games so quickly? But, well, they don't actually. I imagine a bit of a ridiculously long process, but so, this is sort of like a casino-esque. This is kind of like the El Royale building of everything, so, that one's that, and, Vertex painted it and all that. So I Vertex painted most of the buildings. Like the ones way at the back I didn't worry about, but and as I said, the buildings just got crazier and crazier and crazier as they're going along. This one here in particular, it's just like a fucking, doesn't even have windows, it's just like some kind of fucking, windowless, soulless building of whatever. But as I said, you can see, so, repetition. Like, I mean, that's a door that I fucking just decided to turn into a window, So, you try to be creative with the pieces. That's my sort of approach to this, and that's that. So actually, what I'll do, I'll show you the actual modular pieces themselves. So, we'll just go for a big zoom, just give some moment. I've hidden them somewhere. There they are. Okay, so we're back, guys. Alrighty, so I'll just show you the actual modular pieces themselves. So we'll just bring them into shot. Because, yeah, as I said, like, that's the... I'll hide that for one. So I'll just hide those two things. Alright, so anyway, let's bring the modular pieces back into play, shall we? So we'll just fucking bring you into shots. It's like a little sushi smorgasbord of modular pieces. Let's bring it up to the top here. Hang on. Alrighty. Focus. Oh god! Oh my god! Where the hell are they on? Alright, there we are. God, now I'm navigating like crazy, man. Meant to be a professional. Well, learning to be a professional. Okay, so slow the hell down for a second. Okay, so these are the modular pieces that I've used to actually build the whole city themselves. So, yeah, so as I said, so each sort of set, has like a particular style and all that sort of thing, and ended up just merging it as we go along. That was a failed bin. I kind of thought it looked like shit. It's actually based, the shape of that bin is actually based on the Australia Post, like, standard post bins that you see everywhere, so that's based on that. But yeah, so these are all the pieces individually. Oh yeah, there's a couple of jugs and shit. I forgot about those. You just build what you need. It's just security cameras and all that, and pallets. I don't need to explain what we are seeing. That's just condescending. But sort of various different pieces that I used to build, and I sort of felt that, like, the more simple the piece, the more sort of useful it was, really. Like, I have one piece, I don't even think it's here, but it was just like, I was thinking like, oh, this is unusual shape, I'll use it all the time, and I didn't even fucking use it for anything. So, but that sort of just gives you an indication of, like, how these things are sort of built. So, and again, it depends how much you sort of modulate. Like, I kind of feel like, if I were to do it again, I'd probably modulate a bit less, like sort of have, like, more complete sort of building facades. But that's that. So there's our little sushi smorgasbord of fucking modular pieces. I'll take the sashimi, thank you. But alrighty, so that's that, and I'll just show you the trim sheets, which we just have to find, I think. So these are the trim sheets that you actually put together to texture everything. So obviously these are all the textures within the modular pieces, which make up the whole fucking world. So as I said, like, I'm learning, like, this was sort of a heavy hitter, definitely. You see that one was all throughout the building. This one was, very useful as well. Again, like, separately, you can, like, definitely see the, Art Deco influence and all that. This one was a bit fucking dodgy. I didn't even use half of that one. Again, that was just mainly for one piece. Again, just that bit sort of propped up everywhere. And this was more of an item sort of trim sheet, if you want some wood trimmings and all that sort of thing, grates and all that. So that's the trim sheet side of things. Okay, random chop. Here we are. So there was just one thing I want to actually, because I forgot to talk about the lighting aspect side of things. So as I said, yeah, completely unrealistic lighting, very stylized and all that sort of shit. But I'll show you the sprites themselves. So these are all the fucking lights. So yeah, I went ballistic with this shit, like a little bit fucking overboard with all this shit. I couldn't help it, man. I love this shit, man. So I can put that everywhere, man. Like crosses, I gotta it's the cross because it's a static and changed to a static and it does that. But yeah, it went real overboard with the lighting and all that, and it's very unrealistic. And got some feedback and all that. I'm like, you got to make it more realistic. And I'm thinking like, I don't know if I will. I think I might just move on from that one, you know what I mean? But yeah, so that's the sprites themselves. So that's the actual lighting itself and how it's all set up. So it's a total fucking chaos. Shit is just everywhere, you know what I mean? So that was that. I just wanted to include that little, little sort of sight of. Imagine if I was, what the hell are we looking at here, people? No, and like when you actually click on the actual sprites themselves, and there's groups of them and shit. It's just fucking, what the hell is that? You know what I mean? It's just chaos, but good fun. So alright. So anyways, that's the walkthrough. So that's the general crux of what I created. I hope this was entertaining enough for you guys. I hope you enjoyed. It's not a learning video or anything, so I can't say you learnt anything, but. Well, it is what it is. So, yeah, so anyway, thanks. So, click the subscribe button if you want, and if you're unhappy with this video, unsubscribe. Do what you want. You are your own person, and your own choice in life is yours to be made. So, thank you very much, and have a good evening.